to the Federalist staff writer Bre Payton, former New York Republican Congresswoman Nan Hayworth, and the Washington Free Beacon's Liz Harrington. Liz, what did you make of the president's response?
Well, I think you're right, and as he took this opportunity to attack one of his favorite targets, NBC's been very critical of his administration. So when they're having a bad news day, I think he takes the opportunity to beat them up over their coverage of him. But I think this story for NBC is particularly bad when you think about NBC and Andy Lack over there. They were the ones that killed the Ronan Farrow New Yorker that he eventually took to the New Yorker story on Harvey Weinstein to begin with. They had this story, didn't decide to run it, and look, now it's come all the way back to hit them for their sexual harassment culture at their network. So I think it's a good opportunity to attack the network when you look at their leadership and how they've handled these allegations and the story about Weinstein, and now that it's hitting Matt Lauer.
It is tempting to do that and to tweet about it, to Liz's point, Bre, but I'm wondering whether, as President of the United States, it's even necessary.
Yeah, well, I think it's a distraction. I mean, it's coming to close on his first year in office. Remember on the campaign trail when he said he would repeal Obamacare on day one and build the wall immediately? Neither of those things have happened, right? And we're coming up on the sunset of his first year in office. But you know what? He knows that this is going to work because whenever he goes on offense, the media totally pounces all over it because it fits their narrative that they're the heroes of, you know, this grand, larger story, and that Donald Trump is a cartoon villain attacking them, you know, because democracy dies in darkness or something like that. I mean, a prominent TV network loudly announced last night that they're not going to attend the White House Christmas party. And recently, the New York Times Opinion Twitter account changed its bio to say that it's going to use the Twitter account to be an advocacy page to urge people, urge those in Congress, I should say, rather, to vote against the current tax bill. And they're tweeting at people to call congressmen in order to, you know, urge them to not vote for this tax plan, right? So, I mean, it's very clear what's going on here. If we zoom out, Donald Trump absolutely has a point. And, you know, I think a lot of people like to see it because they think, finally, someone is calling out the media for being ridiculous and thinking that they're so self-important and acting so gross all the time.
Well, you know, Nan, it'd be like you having a party and me saying I wouldn't come, but you hadn't invited me yet. So I'm hoping that you had.
I had that problem right off at the pass.
Right off the bat. But I thought that was a little funny, too. I think Bre raised a good point there. But, you know, Nan, I'm wondering about everything is about focus and the approach. And the president, of course, is heading out to Missouri to make his pitch for tax cuts that have been deemed very unpopular with the general public. A lot of that has to do with the way they've been presented or the way Republicans have clumsily presented them. Probably a little bit of both. But do you think you're getting sidetracked on these other issues for whatever good they do to sort of spread the, you know, the controversial wealth around on sex scandals and the like, that it just doesn't serve the president well?
Well, I think Bre has an excellent point about the president's taking on the media. The media have stepped all over themselves with apparently having harbored and tolerated within their midst some apparently validated claims of and charges and allegations of very bad behavior. So the media are at this moment in no place, if you will, to judge the president. And I think the president is going to capitalize on that. I would agree completely.
Well, do you mean that by that, does that mean that they would be less inclined then to go after the president now, because they'd say, particularly on these kind of issues, harassment or you know, sexual issues, that look, we have problems in our backyard, so we're less inclined to go after the president for what's going on in his?
I wouldn't necessarily say that unless the president, look, has a long history, we know, with NBC. So when he mentions certain things about NBC, it does have a certain ring of truth about it. You know, he probably does know where some of these scandals are buried. But more to the point about the president's approach, you know, whenever he denigrates the media, he'll get a lot of sympathy from the folks he needs to be front and center with him in the public to support his legislative agenda, because there is so much feeling in the country, that's why he was elected, that it's the media, the mainstream media especially, the elites, against us. And they have feet of clay, as the president and all of us are now learning, and the president is emphasizing. So I don't think it hurts him at all.
Liz, does this make any difference at all in whether tax cuts happen or not?
I don't
You
think
notice
so.
how everything comes. I'm such a nerdy, self-absorbed person. I think everything comes back to those tax cuts. What do you make of that?
I don't think it affects tax cuts at all. I think Trump attacks the media because it's an easy target, and anytime he does this, the media always overreaches in their reaction. I mean,
are you saying we're thin skinned?
maybe not so much on this network, but to flip around the channels, they're pretty thin-skinned. I mean, just look the other day, Trump makes a throwaway joke about Elizabeth Warren lying about being Native American, and then for 24 hours on all the other cable networks, it's all this coverage about his motives and all Republicans are racist because of this. It's like it's a throwaway line, a joke that he made, and their Trump derangement syndrome, they always go overboard. So I think Trump attacking the media, it's an easy target and an easy win for him.
Will they be less overboard if that's the argument, Bre, now, given their own picadillos?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. You know, and I think that, I mean, you know what I think about tax reform, right? Since you want to talk about that.
Yes, indeed.
I don't think it's going to happen because Republicans have proven themselves to be completely worthless and unable to do anything. So I think it's not going to work. And I think we all know that, right? And I think media knows that too, and Donald Trump knows that too, and that's why he's going on the offense at the media, because it's everyone's favorite punching bag.
All right.